I started off at like playing games against people that I don't like or sniping them, but I realized that people have cliques and they will play with their friends to get your coins. So I think sniping the top is the best way to do it without
It really is.
without supporting somebody's random friend.
And the other one is so time consuming. You're right, because they'll pick and choose who they're going to battle so that they get the coins, and then you kind of see them. I've seen it just in the last couple weeks, where they act a certain way and they continue to be in battles where quote unquote hate gifting is happening, but they choose a person that they know will gift it back to them or give them a portion back, and I see that a lot.
Exactly.
And hate gifting is a lot more time consuming. It takes up a lot more time from people to like revolve their schedules around that. And
Exactly.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but it's better to schedule 5 minutes before the top to snipe the person that you don't like.
I know. That's so crazy. It's
instead
one of
of
my yeah.
instead of watching them all day play games, blah blah. Yeah, just let them enjoy the whole day and just make sure they end their day badly.
If you're asking me, one of my favorite things on the app, it has to be those moments. Like there's so much pettiness that happens on the app, you guys. So what Walal does is part of it. You know what I mean? Like it's part of the drama or the toxicity or whatever. But there's always like a backstory to it, and not a lot of people realize how. Or even the reasons why he does them. It's not like from one day to the next, he's like, oh, I hate this person, I'm going to snipe them. There was always an action that triggered this reaction. So it's something to always think about.
Exactly.
Let's see. I'm going to ask you some typical coffee talk questions just to kind of get your perspective. But these are questions that people kind of submit to me. How do you feel about hate gifting? Do you think it's a thing? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. I'm not a fan of it. Like I told you, it takes a lot of time and consumes a lot of energy. There's creative ways around it, but everybody does it. It's unfortunately a human nature to feel bothered and to react. So I don't mind the people who do it, but I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, I struggle with the hate gifting term because I'm like, everybody's still getting rich. What's the problem? You know, that's my mentality on it. So I'm just like, it's just another reason to complain. So you're right. That's why I don't like it, because it just gives them another reason to complain. I always suggest to people, don't do it. Do it. I think that's the smarter way to do it. Another random coffee talk question that we get often is, are you able to forgive easily?
If I'm gonna be honest,
No, be honest. Yeah, this is for no.
no, I'm a very petty person when it comes to forgiveness. It takes me a long time, but I do. If somebody is genuinely toxic and genuinely continuing to be toxic, I make it my job to make sure they they don't forget what they do. So to be very frank, I'm not a big forgiver.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm actually I'm a very forgiving person, but once I'm done, I'm like done, you know, and I'm like, okay, like but it's harder for me. But I do tend, that's one of my weaknesses. I do tend to forgive a lot in the beginning, but then it takes some time and I'm like, okay, I'm over it. I wish I was more like you to begin with. Probably, you know, just see them for who they are the first time they show you, sort of thing.
Exactly.
And I like that quote when they say, believe them when they show you who they are the first time.
Exactly.
But I'm bad at that. I preach it, but I'm horrible. I'm horrible at it. Does your family know what you do on TikTok?
No, not really.
They don't?
No, I have I have a brother who knows I'm on TikTok and kind of helping me stream. He was just getting me my charger, but other than that, no, not really.
Okay. My whole family knows. Everybody knows. I can't hide anything. How can you hide 250s? You know what I mean? At that point, it's like
I know.
I know.
Yeah.
No, I can't. No, my whole family knows. They watch and they listen. So that's interesting to know. Who's the last person you texted?
The last person I texted was my brother.
Okay.
During my yeah.
To be ready for this?
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you have a biggest regret on the app?
Not really. I do not have any big regrets on the app. I fortunately enjoyed my first level 50. I spent most of it with my community, supporting a lot of good friends and a lot of good people. I think if I say regret, it'll be the time waste, the time consumption that it took away from some of my personal things. But other than that, yeah, I had a very fun time.
Yeah, I agree. There's no do-overs in life, so how can you have regrets?
Exactly.
You can just learn from it and take the experiences for what they are, and that's it. You said that you started off as a supporter on the app. Is there anybody on the app that you've regretted supporting?
Oh yeah, there's few obviously that turn out to be complete a-holes.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you learn as you go. But I never regret supporting them at that moment because what I was feeling that moment and how I perceived them was valid for me. So I tried to be kind to myself and say, yeah, it was a very expensive lesson.
Yeah, and that's a good way to put it.
Yep.
You know, it's so funny. I talk about this all the time, and I haven't said that yet. It was a very expensive lesson. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
You guys pick up the coffee talk because I'm going to exit out because I'm going to look at the app and questions that you guys are submitting. There's a link in the coffee talks bio. Make sure you follow it right now so that you can tap on the link. I'm going to exit out. 3, 2, 1. Goodbye. Does he even think about the people who are not involved with his petty drama of hate sniping? So us regular people, we get our money stolen. Well, let me stop you right there. You didn't. Doesn't get stolen because you already threw it away, buddy. You already threw it away. When supporting someone he had an issue with, ridiculous. Why should we play? Exactly. You should talk to your creator about those issues and what started off the pettiness. How am I supposed to know who he has an issue with and not okay for that person? I'm not trying to be mean. I hope you understand my question. I totally do. But we are all throwing our money away. The moment you send a gift, it's already thrown. You already lost it. It's done. But
Yeah, and it wouldn't matter if you're not at the top. So usually I snap the first person, not the 17th or the 19th ranking. So yeah, if you're at the 19th ranking, you would have still not made it to the top, so it wouldn't matter.
Exactly what he said. Can you ask Walal why he didn't participate in Live Fest?
I was traveling and I'm still under. I mean, it's the holiday season, so I didn't want to be stressed and be consumed. But I participated in as a gift in many different ways. I was supporting different teams in different regions. Some of them have actually done amazing, and I didn't think it was actually my cup of tea because I don't do the big games every day, but I participated in my way.
Yeah, I agree. Me too. It's not something that I was like, oh, I want to help anybody push, but if there was somebody that I enjoyed and they happened to be in it, I definitely helped a little, but not
Exactly.
anything crazy. Do you have someone you enjoy watching but not necessarily supporting?
No, and everybody that I actually enjoy watching, I support because I cannot just spend time on somebody's channel that actually I find their content creative or fun or enjoyable and not support them. So unfortunately, no. Everybody that I support, I enjoy their content.
I got a question for you. Another one. Does Walal consider the regular people who are playing, we don't have a lot of money, but like to play a little bit here and there, and then he comes along with his tons and tons of money and snipes someone I supported that day? It makes me really dislike him. He throws around his money with no consideration of normal people playing. My only comment on that, and I'll answer, is that he seems very normal to me. A lot of people have these ideas of people like, even like me. not that I think I'm anyone, but they called me abnormal, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm a regular person just trying to play. And maybe I have a little bit more, but that doesn't make me any different than you. The intentions are not any different. So why does it matter?
Exactly.
But I'll let you answer.
Exactly. Yeah, I consider myself a very normal, regular person. So the word normal is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as far as consideration, I think when everybody, this app is meant to have fun. And if you're enjoying supporting a creator and you're supporting them because you actually love their content, it shouldn't matter what happens or where they end up in the ranking because you're not playing against me or playing against the top. So I do consider, which is why I don't open pretty much every day or every other day, which I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do have some consideration of the quote unquote, which is a weird term to put it, I guess, normal people.
Yeah, exactly. I think about it now, like now they don't say it as much, but definitely when I was throwing the way I used to throw, was always, like I was even called an agency back then. Before I even knew what an agency was, I was called an agency very, very early on. And I'm like, what? Like, no, this is like mine. Like, what do you mean? And so another expensive lesson, but they actually they made me curious about agencies. I was like, what are they even talking about?
It getting me curious about agencies, and I was like, okay, which I guess I think, yeah, I guess I will eventually talk to you about Inigo. Is that how you put it?
Yes, yeah. No, we can talk. We can definitely that's. I guess to start off with, they started calling me that early on, and then I just kept supporting as usual. But then I met a really good friend on this app. I don't know if you know him, Wolf.
Wolf, yep, I know
Yes.
Wolf. Yep.
Wolf is like family to me, and he and I decided to start a business together. And so he and I have our agency Indigo, and the link is in my bio. And we just spend a lot of time helping smaller creators build up their platform and understanding what it takes to build teams and not just rely on big gifters. And that way they can be able to sustain their tenure on the app. Because you've seen people come in and they have one big gifter and then you never see them again after a few months. They get their wave of high and then they're done for. And so,
and anybody in the chat who is curious about Inigo or Elsie's and Wolf's agency, I think there's a link on your bio, right?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, there's a link in my bio. You can tap and apply, and then one of us will reach out to you.
Exactly. Yep. So, guys, if you are one of my favorite creators, and this is a highly recommended friend, so yeah, check them out, please.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Taylor Page is also in the chat, and she is Wolf and I's right hand. There's a link in her bio for the questions too, if you guys have any more questions. But I still have more. They're coming in. they're very curious about a lot of things. What led Walal to anonymously use a sound change when talking in public?
It's one of my private. I love my privacy in my real life. In my real life, I don't want to interact with people that I have. It's just for privacy. I give a lot of speeches around the world, so I don't want, I don't want some personal stuff to impact my business life. So yeah, as long as people, and I actually love the sound of the.
I do too.
It makes you less serious and less intimidating.
I agree. I've spoken to Walal. He is normal, just like everybody else. We're on here on his platform, so he could use the voice changer. And he did, in fairness to Walal, he did offer to come into my live regardless and still do the interview. But I also take privacy very seriously, and I can understand the reason. So I'd never, want to put you in that position. But I did appreciate you even mentioning it. Somebody asked, do you feel bad? I'm going to ask it one more time, but we won't talk about this part again. But do you ever feel bad for someone new who is about to take one and then you snipe or get sniped in the last 10 seconds? So this question, the only reason I'm bringing it up again is so that I can make you guys understand that he doesn't do this just to any random. If he wants to take top one, he can take top one anytime he wants, just like anybody else. I think actually he plays much nicer than a lot of you think. Because when you look at the way they stream and how they